Welcome guys, my name is Matt and I'm going to do a little series for you guys about industrial everything. But we're going to do it one episode, one topic at a time. That way it doesn't, the videos become easy to find and that sort of thing. And I'm going to show you basically all the systems I end up setting up by the end of a wipe if I play all wipe. And what their use is, well, yeah, it'll be pretty obvious I guess what their use is. But basically this makes your base very manageable and low maintenance. So that's what we're going for. We're going for a work smarter, not harder type of base setup. And it's just the way I like to do things. You're going to learn a lot in this series. There's a lot of things I'm going to teach you that I don't know of any other videos or tutorials or anything like that out there that show you this properly. So going to be a lot of new stuff. It doesn't really get, well, I guess it gets pretty advanced, but I will say that to the best of my ability, I like to keep things simple. I don't like complicated setups. So I think that's what is going to make mine different and special, is that it's something anyone could understand. But eventually it probably will start to get a little confusing with all splitters and stuff, but I'm going to kind of name my systems as I set them up and explain how they integrate to the base. And the systems are going to be things like, well, of course you're going to have automated furnaces, but it is much more than that. As you'll see, automated furnaces, it turns into a lot of automated parts of your base with the same 1 watt that is powering your pushers to the furnaces. But also we're going to have things like, well, an auto sorter. Of course we're going to have an auto sorter, and we're going to have what I call a puller system, which basically is a box or a way to access all your boxes from one box. That way you just have, you don't have to move all the way around your base. You just have this access point to get to your items, and that's absolutely game changing. And then we're also going to get into some factoring methods, I believe, of pumping out kits, meds, all that good stuff. And maybe a few other little bonus systems in there as well. But this comes in stages, and usually you set up one thing at a time. I'm going to try to go in that order. Usually the very first thing set up in a base is the closed loop electric furnaces, or non-electric's fine too. It's just the closed loop furnace system. That is the first system to set up. You don't need the electric furnace for this, actually. It just makes it nice when you get one. You just pop it in there. You'll see. So we're going to do that first. The next episode, I'll show you the full auto sorter. So stay tuned and all that. Support the series. We'll get into a lot of stuff. Okay, so I have a starter 2x2 that just got expanded to have a jump up. Or I said 2x2. I meant 2x1. And here's where we get to the integration parts. So maybe you do or don't have this. That's fine. But you probably got a box and a TC and some kind of battery. I just placed a large battery here, but maybe you only got a small one. Doesn't really matter. Any battery will work. And now you have furnaces that you want to get cooking so you can finish upgrading your base and all that. And here's the cool thing. You just need some metal to get started. And basically you need a bunch of these storage adapters. Kind of a prerequisite. I'll try to mention those as they come up. But you're going to need to dump some metal into this project, some fragments. So we pop those on there and pop this on something that holds ore. We're going to say our main box, but also if you don't even have a box, you can just do this with your TC even. You just put this on your TC, but usually people do it from a box in the long run. But with this closed loop system, it's versatile. You just need anything that can hold the ore or the smeltables, which a TC can. So it's often a great way when you log out and say, oh, I need to turn this. You're logging out, but you have ore and not frags or high qual. You can just throw it in your system and then log off and you're fine, because it'll end up back in your TC, as you'll see. Because this closed loop system is a 1 box system. That's the most important thing about this, is it's 1 box. When you start going beyond 1 box, you have to do it a slightly different way, or kind of wacky stuff happens, which I won't go into too much detail about, but just part of this is avoiding the wacky setups. We want nice, consistent, simple things. And this closed loop one box is simple and consistent. When you add more boxes, it becomes inconsistent for reasons I'll maybe talk about sometime. But so we take the out from the box to this conveyor, because this conveyor is going to push all the ore and stuff to the furnaces. As many furnaces, you can do any number of them, up to 32, I believe actually is the technical number that's hard-coded. Output goes straight to the furnace. I'm not going to worry about piping too much. I'll just keep it simple and hit the corners. But I do want to mention, at least in this first episode, some piping tips, because piping can be a bit frustrating sometimes. You'll kind of see how take slightly wider angles than you would expect. That's always good. And edging around corners, sometimes you just got to slightly move it till it turns green, and that's your spot. That's about all you need to know. Like this here, maybe I want to go here, but I can't. Edge it till it turns green, there's your spot. And that's just kind of a standards thing. All right. So we just want to get to the input of all these and daisy chain them together. You don't need combiners or splitters or anything here. Just adapters. Another nice thing about this setup is it doesn't require many parts other than the adapters. And we're going to run this one back along the, well, I was going to do floor, but whatever. I'm going to match this pipe instead. At least a little bit. So pipe matching on this, well, I'll say is basically where you kind of mirror a previous run, and it kind of makes your area a little cleaner. Now, the most important thing, another most important thing about this is when you're going back in, when you're done with this, the final one goes back into the box, the input of the box. That's very important about this closed loop system. It's basically one single loop from a conveyor, and this handles it from here. From here, you probably want, I don't know, of course you got to start them up still. There are ways, which I will actually show you, that are kind of cool. There's the old button igniter trick that doesn't even require power since the button puts out 2 power. I'll just put that in there. And of course you can wire that however you want. But now we just need something to move in. We need some power. Well, power's big, of course you need power. And I want to say with power, you don't even really need like anything other than a battery to get started, as I'll show you. I'm not going to hook this up to a solar panel or any power source. Just going to go right to the power input and use that 1 watt. Now you do have to turn it on. And you might think, okay, filter time. You don't need to touch anything. With this closed loop system, it's only going to move what it can move, and that's things that are allowed to go into these furnaces. So no filters are even needed for this setup, which is another amazing thing about it that just makes it super simple and easy to set up. And as you can see, it's starting to put items into the furnaces, which is just this wood since there's nothing else legal. If you don't want it to move your wood, you can do one thing which I will show you, because sometimes that's a thing, you don't want it to move your wood. You go wood, add, change this filter mode to exclude. So it'll move everything it can except wood. And there you go. Then you'd have to put your own stacks in there and turn it on, etc. But the thing is, sometimes you don't want to spend all your wood. Now in this closed loop system, if you don't want it to spend your wood, you just don't put it in here. But in a TC, you might need wood for upkeep, so that's why you might want to exclude it if it's hooked up to your TC. That makes sense. I think that it should, but if not, feel free to leave questions, comments, things I may have missed. But this is actually it. We just need to get some ore in there. Okay, I've spawned some various things that can be smelted, including, pro tip, cans of tuna. You end up buying those at Outpost or finding them. And beans, they work in this too, you just throw them in. So anything we throw in here that can be smelted will be moved to those furnaces. And now that they also have wood in them, we can just start them up. And it will continue to use up all this stuff and put it back. Since it's a closed loop, this ore, once it's done, only has one valid place to go, and that's where it goes. That's why the closed loop works so well with one box, is there's a it's based on the legal slots in these boxes. Yeah, I'm showing it on TC because sometimes it has its advantages for your very first setup. Just to get all your stuff cooked, you know, you go out and farm, you come back, you drop everything, you come back, it's cooked, etc. And it keeps moving. You don't have to go turn on every furnace. And I just want to show you a couple last things on this. And it's basically that this, even as closed loop, is very expandable. Say you find an electric furnace, and then this would go on the front. So it's only front and left on these. So you gotta kind of think about that. Okay, so you find another furnace, you want to add it to the setup. You just basically include it in the loop, and it actually doesn't matter where exactly. I usually try to keep the line runs clean, so whatever is the cleanest way to pop it in there. I guess in this case, we're going to go, since it's way over here separate, we'll just make it the first one. So we'll take that output and go into the input here, and take this output and start off the one down here. Going a little wide with the pipes. Take it in that first input, and there we go. Now the electric one is in the loop. Electric one does need power, so that brings up the need to get a little more power stuff going on. All right, so yeah, we'd wire up that. It'll work as well. We got our branch. Not really going to talk too much about power. Actually, I could just take the pass through. I don't even need a branch, right? Okay, well, I'll do that for now. It doesn't really matter. It's just a very simple setup. Sometimes you just got to get things working initially, and something like this could be it. So this is how I would do it if I just needed to get out of my base and back to farm and didn't have time to mess with. Look, branching right now, it didn't matter because it works. It's good enough. So turn that on. But now that this is in the loop, it should, anything it can smelt will also go in there. We don't have anything. Let's just say, okay, we got some cans of tuna here. Throw them in there. There they go, 4 of them going there. All right. So it is now working. And this ran out of wood, so it's done. I think some kind of special fast smelting is on, or we have wood disabled. So we can take that off there, let it get some wood back. As soon as it gets wood, it turns on. Okay, and I feel like there's more to say. Yeah, there's definitely more. Okay, this system, this closed loop system gets better. You can put a refinery on it and it just works. So maybe you got a refinery. Let's say, for example, you designed a refinery area in your base like a cool person. It's usually something like this. Or, well, yeah, it doesn't matter how you do it. You'll have your method. I'm gonna prefer this here. Smash that. Put the refinery there. It's kind of a common thing you see a lot of people build, something like that. This can put an adapter on it too. And remember, it goes wherever this is facing left, it goes behind that. That's where it always goes. So you might want to keep that in mind if it matters. But this can just go right on this closed loop system as well, and it's amazing. It doesn't matter where you put it on the system. You just need to put it in and out in the loop. So I'm just going to start it off with it, I guess. Wire this quickly, and now you take the out. And you got to think, what does the refinery accept? Because this conveyor is pushing anything it accepts, and that is crude. All right, and then this to the end. And now it's on there. It is all in one loop, all from one box. Okay, so I don't know, say we get a little crude going on. We'll spawn 1K. The middle mouse button does something special on this. And now if we put some of that in here, it ends up in here. And we do have to turn this on, but it does take the output and puts it back in the TC, as you'll see. Watch it pile up here. Yeah, there we go. So it's on the loop. Still a closed loop system, still only 1 watt to do if you don't have an electric furnace going on. Which you don't need. Electric furnace is just extra. You might want the charcoal anyway, so maybe you don't even want an electric furnace. Depends on how you play. But now we have this in the loop as well. So this just basic system, just upwards of 500 metal, and you got you an auto smelting system. You will never have to move ore to boxes individually again. You will never have to go back and forth and grab stuff. It's just, you throw it in here and it does the rest. That's it for the rest of the wipe. That's why this is so big. This kind of stuff is crazy. And naturally, you know, you probably don't want to have this on your TC at some point, but it's fine to start out on your TC. And I just want to show you how easy that is to switch. You just put an adapter somewhere else and say, this is the box now. That's it. Hook it up as before. Now this is the box that does it. I'll eat some more tuna, throw those in there, throw those in there. It all works. There's the, but now you got to keep in mind it doesn't fill your TC. But don't worry, we'll get to that later. This system naturally includes an auto TC manager. So if you don't log on for a week, as long as no one gets in your loot boxes, it'll be fine. That will be included in the series too. All right, that's it for this one. This is the closed loop furnace system. And that's how you do it with a very common basic setup. And let me know if you have any questions. Now, I will say this is just the initial furnace setup that I always set up, the very first thing basically. And of course, when you find a solar panel, you hook up the solar panel. It's that simple. And it will manage itself. You only need one because this only uses, what, 4 watts. Solar panel tip. You must know this. Just face it north. Just get your little cursor up there to north and then place it. It doesn't even matter where you place it. You can even place it on the ground. It doesn't even need to be on your roof. Just face the dang thing north and wire up your thing. And now it's fully managed for the rest of the way. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, so there's that. I feel like I'm missing something that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, all I wanted to say is this furnace system gets more advanced later, but we'll talk about it as the time comes. So just don't want you to think that this is the final iteration of as advanced as the furnace gets. No, it actually gets quite more advanced. Very simply, it'll integrate into the other systems, you'll see. So stay tuned for next episode. I'm going to start talking about the dropbox and sorting system that I use and exactly how that's set up. All right, peace out, guys. This has been Matt from Merly Gaming, Merly and Game. You can find me occasionally streaming too. I guess I'll say that at the end of these. Twitch.tv/BytePro17124. I know it's a weird name, but it's kind of it was a coding channel, so it is what it is. All right, I'll see you guys on that Twitch maybe, or over here sooner. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know if you have any questions about things, and I'll try to help out and do what I can. Peace out. Happy hooking up the automation, and enjoy your time playing the game instead of moving ores from box to box.